isn't meant for anybody. It's just I've been struggling to take the time to physically journal, and I've had a few assignments over the past couple of semesters to journal, and I know that it's benefit, and so I'm going to try and just take time to do a video journal, a vlog. Um, so yeah, this isn't meant for anyone. This is just me talking, sharing my mind. Really, that's it. Just saying what's on my mind. So, yeah, I don't, yeah, this is more for me than anyone else. But if you guys want to watch and see what's going on in here, then I'm just going to be sharing my mind. I'm not going to necessarily filter it. This is going to come out raw and uncut. That's why I'm live. So enter at your own risk, watch at your own risk, I guess, because this is really just the dark recesses. So, to jump right in, things are just, they are as good and as bad as they could be, I guess, simultaneously. It's as hard as it can be, and it's as amazing as it can be. Um, Doctoral school has been fantastic. The curriculum is wonderful. I love it. I am so excited to be able to be a practitioner and to go out into the field and show the world what I can do with the knowledge that I'm gaining. However, at the same time, I am being forced to mature in ways that I hadn't necessarily anticipated. And it's been an interesting journey for me to have to really open up myself to be vulnerable and address and face the traumas that I have that are preventing me from being the best person that I can be and the person that I really want to be. Um, so it's been amazing, but it's been difficult because I'm having to show strength I've never had to show before, most of which is personal strength. It something I have to do alone because these are skills that I'm teaching myself that I'll have to utilize for the rest of my life. And I guess the reason why that's so difficult for me is because since my life has been so difficult objectively and subjectively, I kind of, as you might say, have struggled with victim mentality and just wanting to be able to curl up into a dark corner and live in a woe is me life, because I've identified many of the things that have happened to lead me to the place that I'm at now, and that I've created habits, whether good or bad, and being strong enough to face those imperfections in myself. I'd never had the space or opportunity. I never had the guidance to be able to do those things. And so now I'm forced to, because I can't crawl into that corner. I can't be silent. I can't just observe the world from the outside and be pissed off that it's not going the right way and wish that I could change it without really doing anything about it. I'm forcing myself to take action. And by doing so, I'm forced to live in the world that I know would be the best for everybody. That means facing my demons. That means addressing situations that normally I would hide from. And I've got to deal with those now. I've got to face that side of myself so that I can make sure that I am not presenting anything other than authenticity when I come to my patients, my clients, and to anybody really. I just want to be me as much as I can possibly be, and I don't want to cloud that with the previous judgments of my actions or actions of other people. And so I'm really trying to learn how to start fresh, be fresh, and do what I need to do for myself, and not necessarily allow other people to affect me so much. And I know that for anyone who's watching, and even probably for myself rewatching this, that would all be cryptic. You guys have no idea what I'm talking about, the situations, and that's kind of hard to jump into because there's a lot. There's so much going on, and most days I don't know exactly where to start, and I'm just surviving by the skin of my teeth. yeah, I mean, I've got my emergency room bracelet on because I had to go for emergency surgery yesterday on my face. I don't know if you can tell how swollen it is, but it's still pretty massive. But anyway, little things like that, little emergencies that you've got to take care of. Like, I've been saving a bunch of money to try and pay for tuition, and I just had to use most of that money to pay for part of the dental surgery I had to receive. I still have $1,000+ I'll have to pay, which I don't have, and I don't know I'm gonna get, because I don't know I'm gonna pay for tuition for this summer. I've only got half of it covered right now with vocational rehab. And then that means I've got $4,000 I've got to come up with myself, and I don't qualify for loans, and I don't have anyone who I can really ask to co-sign for loans. So there's situations I'm gonna have to address. I'm gonna have to talk to my mom and other people and see if I can convince them to invest in me for my future in this. And that's difficult and it's hard because most likely, whether they can or can't, there's going to be conditions. There always is. There's quid pro quo in this type of situation, and that's hard for me to deal with quid pro quo, because I'm the type of person that really would like to help freely and not have expectations attached to it or payment required in most cases. But when other people do, when they help me, there is that quid pro quo. And so it's just hard because it's not the way that I like to do things. I don't like to have contracts. I don't like to have expectations that are set in stone where if you don't meet the expectation, then you're a failure, you're not good enough. And really all an expectation is just trying to get your needs met in the way that you want, regardless of what it'll do for other people. And that to me is just, it's so selfish. But I understand that other people do that to protect themselves. So that they don't feel that they're being taken advantage of, and then in the process of trying to ensure that they themselves aren't being taken advantage of, they take advantage of other people. Hurt people, that kind of crap. But yeah, so still trying to figure out tuition, trying to figure out money, trying to figure out just how to make it through the schooling that I need to, so that I can be what I'm meant to be the occupational therapist I was always intended to be. And it's no joke, it's no exaggeration. This job is like, it's made for me. The life that I have led up to this point has seriously honed me into the right type of person for this job, the perfect person for this job. And so, yeah, it's hard, but it's beautiful. And then dealing with a lot of bullying, bullying from faculty and staff, a lot of bullying from other students, a lot of miscommunication, a lot of stuff that's happened that to me is just unnecessarily uncomfortable for everybody. But in the wake of that situation, with the bullying that I'm receiving and some people who are receiving it, I haven't known how to address the situation. And I've reached out to others to gain some advice in the area, and really haven't been able to find a solid approach until I went and talked with Ali 3, the Dean of Students, for some complaints that have been made for other students. Anyways, we had a great conversation. We were able to air out the laundry, and thanks to her, again, she's one of my favorite people of all time. Ali is just amazing. I fucking love her. Like, without her, I don't know where I'd be. I'm so grateful for her influence. But we were able to talk through it, and in that, we discussed the different options and what I would be able to do in order to formalize the complaint that I had. And we eventually settled on the least detrimental, but the most scary of all the options. And that is that I'm going to submit all of the information that I have to Ali. She's going to type it up for a behavior plan towards the students that are affected. And then we're going to call those students in, and I am going to get a chance to talk to them face to face with Ali as a mediator, so that I can get their story and understand why and how they're doing what they're doing, so that I can better interpret the way that I need to respond to it. Basically what I'm doing by that is I'm going first. And that's kind of a mantra in the teachings that we've been given, like me first. And that basically means I need to do what I am telling other people that they should be doing. So if I'm guiding somebody to step forward and talk to the individual that they're having an issue with and try to have an adult, grown up, productive conversation, if I'm giving that advice, I better be willing to do that as well. And so in this situation, I had the opportunity to be able to launch into official investigations that could be long and drawn out and dirty and confusing and not really have a solution. And instead of doing that from the shadows where it's easier for me and I don't have to really put myself on the line, instead of that, I'm doing exactly what I'm asking everyone else to do. I'm going to talk directly to the people who I'm having issues with. I'm going to tell them exactly what the problems are that I have. I'm going to ask them why and what circumstances led to what they did in response to that, in order to verify whether or not I'm correct, and then give them a chance to be able to express to me potentially anything that I may have misinterpreted or that I may have misjudged or assigned too much meaning to, which was inappropriate. So I'm stepping forward and I'm putting myself in the firing line on purpose, because that's the way I believe it should be done. If you have an issue, you should be able to step forward and productively talk with that person that you have that issue with and be able to resolve complaints. And I don't think that you need to be able to jump straight up the line and go to the highest levels of authority to have situations addressed, because you want to just be in the shadows and you want to see results regardless of what those are in your benefit. And it's far easier to play a victim when you're so traumatized that you're not willing to address your attacker. And I know that that's counterintuitive, right? Because no one should ever have to necessarily face their attacker. But for those that are brave enough to, and for the right reasons, ultimately it's the only way to find that last piece of solace that you look for, is by facing and addressing the person and being able to view the situation from their point and perspective, and ultimately offer a sense of forgiveness and grace. Because I can't offer grace to somebody who I don't know if they deserve it, because it's possible that they don't. It could be that they are manipulating and that everything that I'm seeing is true, and it could be that I just need validation for that, verification. But if it's not, if I'm misinterpreting the situation, then it's my obligation to seek out clarification, plain and simple, right? And sometimes there is nobody who can give clarification other than the person that is exactly responsible for the infraction or whatever it is. So I'm doing it. I'm stepping forward myself, and I'm going to let the person know that who's offended me, that they've offended me, and I'm not going to hide in the shadows. I'm going to stand out, and I'm going to take whatever repercussions there are from it. And it's scary and terrifying. I have never been brave enough to do this. I've faced bullying like this my entire life, even from family members, and I've never known how to address it, because my initial response is to get angry and to lash out and be frustrated, because it ends the situation. If you get angry enough, if you get mad enough, it doesn't really matter what you're saying or what other people are saying. If you lash out and get aggressive, people stop. And so in the past, when I would try to have conversations, I would be blunt and honest, and I wouldn't address things properly. And so now it's something where like I just, sorry, I lost my train of thought. I didn't think anyone would even jump in. I can't remember. I'm just gonna have to start. Anyways, so yeah, I need to be able to. This is something I need to do, not just for a professional way, but also with my family. I need to be able to talk to them appropriately and talk to them about uncomfortable situations without allowing myself to get frustrated and aggressive, which will shut down the conversations. And so it's a lesson that I need to learn regardless. And it's terrifying and scary, but we're going to do it. And I am ultimately excited for that growth period. But it's not the only thing that I'm struggling with, and it's not the only thing that's pressing in my life, which makes it difficult to make the right decisions. And one of the things that's been the hardest is my relationship with my girlfriend, my lover. We've had a hard go of things, and right now we're on a break that she opted for, and it's been really difficult to kind of understand the situation. I'm not at all mad at her for it. I'm actually glad that she's taking the opportunity to try and figure out and understand what's going on. It's just hard to not exactly know, right? Because she doesn't have answers, so of course I'm not going to have answers, which makes everything difficult for her and for me. And so I just, in that situation, I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do or if I'm supposed to do anything. And so at this point, I'm just moving forward and trying to accomplish the task that I was avoiding. Try to stand on my own 2 feet and be responsible for myself instead of being so gripped by the fear of what my actions would do to improve or degrade the relationship that I have with her. And yeah, so I'm giving her space. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing the journal entry, is because I used to wake up in the morning and kind of text her and decompress. And this morning I really wanted to talk to her about everything that was going on, and I couldn't. I mean, I'm sure I could. I'm sure I could text her and I'm sure she'd respond, but I don't want to put that pressure on her at this moment. I really want her to have the opportunity to iron things out in her mind and decide what she's going to do. And it's hard because I don't know exactly how to act or what my next actions are going to be. There's no time frame on the break, and it's not like we discussed logistics, and I don't want to go out and search for anyone else while I have the opportunity. I just want to know what I need to do for her, ultimately how she needs me to respond in this situation. Like, if this is a decision that she's made that's 50% because of red flags, and this is just a good opportunity for her to kind of escape out safely without feeling like it's going to be bad for us, then I'd like to know that, because 50% is a big deal. But if this is just like her kids really struggling with the idea of their mother being in a relationship with another man, I understand that, and I'm willing to wait as long as it takes and be patient for that, because it's the same thing that I would wish someone would do for me. And so I love her more than anything. I've never met a person in my life that I respect more. Um, and she's worth waiting for. I She deserves that. She's special. But it's difficult because I don't know how to act. I don't know if I should be sad. I don't know if I should be stoic. I don't know if I should reach out to her. And so I'm kind of in this weird spot with that. And then on top of that, I've got my ex-wife now having all these issues. She's having to emergency move out of the place that she's at now and move in with her parents again. And so school year's not over, transportation issues with the kids, it's just a lot. And trying to know like how to deal with that situation, because my children are already struggling so much. Elsie's been dealing with suicidal thoughts. She's been dealing with bullying at school and over sexualization in certain situations. And so I really want to help out more, but I'm so bound by all the other responsibilities that I've got, school and work and my own relationships. And then I want to invest more time in helping my kids and helping Stephanie be a better parent. But my goodness, like, it's so hard how do I help my daughter who's dealing with suicidal thoughts when I've struggled with them my whole life? How do I how do I help her with bullying issues when I'm going through the same thing? Which is one of the reasons why I ultimately decided that I needed to follow my own advice and do it first, me first, step up to my bullies and really try and find out the reality of the situation before I make an ultimate judgment. And so I'm doing that for my daughters as well, trying to help them with their situation. So today I'm going to be driving all the way out, to Hurricane, the next city over, which is, it's a lot for gas for me, but I'm trying to give more for my children so that they know that I really care for them and that their situation is important to me. um, Show them that I love them. But again, that's hard because then, like, in order to pick up my daughter from school, I've got to leave class early. And today I'm pretty lucky because class will probably not take the full time. But in general, I don't know how I'm going to address that situation in the future when I need to be able to, you know, when I need to be able to go for my children, but I need to show that I'm dedicated to the program and to learning what I need to know. It's this weird dichotomy that I face. Um, and then on top of that, I'm struggling just to be able to maintain my own sanity and where I'm at. I was homeless for so long, and then I was asked to live in the house with Michelle, which is already uncomfortable. And then to have the family attack me the way that they have and create the stories that they have is just created such a toxic environment for me, and I don't feel safe anywhere. Because at school I've got the bullying, and I don't have anywhere to go outside of school. When I go back to Michelle's, it's bullying. It's just, so it all is circular, and I definitely am needing to figure it all out. Um, Mostly just to get it all out on the table, I guess. So I'm in the thick of it with everything. I need to try and ask my family if they'd be willing to co-sign on my student loans, because I need to have my own space if possible. I can't keep shoving myself into the box that I already don't fit while I'm trying to grow. It just isn't working, and so that's another scary thing because I've stepped away from my family in so many cases to make sure that I'm safe myself and mentally sane, and they trigger so many of my traumas and my PTSD. And so it's just hard. Like, I'm trying to heal, but it's so impossible to heal when you're experiencing the traumas that you're trying to heal from in real time. So you're trying to take care of the issue while you're dealing with it. It's impossible. So a past, present, and a future collision, and I'm trying to play the ringleader, the coach for all of it, and it's just freaking impossible. But these are all, it's all things that everybody's having to deal with to a certain degree. I'm not exclusive with these issues, and I know that. And I need to be able to express out what's going on and talk it out, because it's really the only way that I can sort it out in my own mind. Um, I don't have anyone to talk to, and now that me and my girlfriend are on a break, I have even less. So I have to do something for my mental health. I have to do something, and at this point, this is for me, and I need to. That's how it needs to be from now on. It just needs to be about me. I have to succeed, because if I'm not healing myself, if I don't have the energy to take care of myself, then there's no way I can take care of anyone else. And that's my ultimate goal. I want to be a stable enough foundation, an unmovable rock that I can hear and deal with situations that other people wouldn't even be able to hear, let alone deal with. I want to be that person, and not for clout, not for glory, not for fame. I don't care about the alphabet soup behind my name. What I care about is honestly making this world a better place, and I always have. I've just never known how. because I lived in the horror of it for so long that I struggled just being okay with living, let alone knowing that other people are going through similar, if not worse, struggles than me, right? Like, it's, for some people who take the blue pill from the Matrix, they're blissfully unaware of what's going on, right? And they live their life in that matrix. This is all just, metaphorical. I don't believe we live in a matrix. I don't believe this is a computer generated system, yada yada yada. We can go off on that tangent another day, but what I mean is, for people who are unwilling to take the risk, to take the red pill, it's easy to float through this world regardless of what happens, because your ignorance protects you from it. If you don't look out of the window to see the destruction that's going on, then you'll never know. You can create the narrative inside for whatever you want it to be. And so for the majority of the world, that's what they do. They just live in this bubble, this world, and they're okay with the atrocities that happen because they've walled off those windows. And I am not that way. I live in a fully glass house, and I kind of wish the rest of the world would too, because I struggle interpreting people and understanding their emotions and why they act the way that they act. I know why they do what they do, but I don't know why they would do it, because most of the time the actions that they're taking are to protect themselves, but ultimately it damages them more in the long run and they don't realize it. So by living in a world where they're not willing to take that risk, it creates and perpetuates the lie and delusion that the world can be a great place by just thinking that it's a great place, or by creating your own reality as safe, when reality is that we're all here. Yeah, we create our own universe, but the way that you decide to think and act ultimately is going to affect others around you. And so it could be positive, it could be negative, but whatever waves you're sending out to them will eventually bounce off and come back to you. So it's important to know the dynamic of those waves that you're creating, and how you in this life are affecting other people regardless of whether you believe it or not. And so I live in that world where I see all of these different avenues, I see all the possibilities, I see everything. And so for every person, I'm able to be 100% judgmental and 100% forgiving all at once. I can give you a million chances because I know your potential, but at the same time, I get lost and discouraged, because the more chances I give you, the more opportunities you use to prove to me that you don't want to move forward, that living in ignorance is bliss to you. And that's a hard reality to live in. And it's hard because at the same time, I know that that's what I have a tendency to do. So hopefully by facing all of these demons, by learning how to address situations in professional, in romantic, in familial, in friendship kind of ways, I'm rounding myself out to be able to hear the stories of others and be able to offer them advice in the best way possible. Because that will ultimately be my job. My job will not be to diagnose. I will not be able to tell you that yes, you do have something. I might be able to suggest things, but ultimately I will refer you to specialists who will be able to help you where I cannot help you. My job ultimately is going to be interpreting your story, understanding what's important to you, and helping you and guiding you to the places that you need to go and people you need to talk to in order to accomplish what's important to you. And that to me is the best way to heal somebody, because I'm not healing you, you're healing you. I'm just helping, hopefully, to guide you through the things that are difficult for you to interpret because you haven't learned that lesson yet. And so by me guiding you forward through the lesson, you can gain that experience and ultimately overcome whatever obstacle you might be facing. That's healing, and that's what I'm going to get to do as an occupational therapist. I am so excited about that, because early on, and when I wanted to when I was asked what I wanted to be for myself, there was always answers that I would give that were laced with the expectations of other people. But when I gave honest answers for myself, everything I ever wanted to do for a career and professionally for the rest of my life was help people. When I was young, I wanted to be a doctor, and I let go of that because I was told that I was stupid so many different times by different educational professionals. And I was hard. I was a hard case, and I still am, man. I'm dealing with so much because of everything that's happened in my life, the traumas and shit, and it's a nightmare to have to deal with. And I know because I live in it, and so for other people helping me in that situation, it's difficult because they get entangled in it as well. And it's hard to be able to not be frustrated with somebody who doesn't know how to help themselves, so that when you try to help, they can't even tell you what to do, which is why I'm trying to become an occupational therapist, so that if you don't know exactly what's going on, I might be able to guide you to knowing what's going on. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. I'm going to change some fucking lives. Anyways, wanted to be a doctor when I was younger, let it go because I was told I was too stupid for it. Moved on from there. Uh, Later on, I wanted to be a comedian because I figured stupid people can be funny enough. When I was younger, I watched Patch Adams, and I thought I could be a Patch Adams without a doctor's degree. I could just go in and volunteer, whatever. So I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to learn how to make people laugh because I felt like laughter was the greatest medicine. But I struggled to be able to maintain my funny, right? Because I've got autism, I've got ADHD, so I'm not exactly the best at maintaining pacing and speed and things like that. So I kind of let that go because I was able to entertain people, but most of the time it was in a court gesture kind of style where I was more just self-humiliating, self-deprecating in order to make other people laugh, which that wasn't beneficial for me because I was dragging myself down to help other people, and that's not helpful at all. So later on after, then I wanted to become a counselor, work as a school counselor. Um, then I wanted to be a full-on psychiatrist or a psychologist, one of the two or both. I wanted to be able to help patients in that way, but I realized that I wasn't mentally sane enough myself to be able to help people in that regard. Um, and then wanted to I went back to wanting to be a doctor. I joined the military because I wanted to become a doctor and help out. So anyways, I've always wanted to. I've worked with people with disabilities for my entire life, those with special needs, like Down syndrome or other mental disabilities, all the way to geriatric patients in our in-home nursing facility. It's just there's a lot of different things that has guided me to the point that I'm at of helping people in the way that I'm going to be able to help them. And the thing that sucks about that is that in order to truly be able to help people, I have to be able to face all of my demons. I have to lead by that example. People need to be able to trust me. And ultimately, I need to be able to trust myself. I have to have enough faith in myself that I I have honed my intuition well enough to trust it even in situations where it I could be incorrect. That's what I'm doing. Dealing with the bullying, dealing with learning how to be more professional with people who aren't being professional with you, so on and so forth. Right? Like there's a lot. So I'm having to shed my shell, let down all of my guards. I'm really having to be uncomfortable, and it sucks, but it's amazing all at the same time. But I'm doing it because I want to help people, and I always have, and I'm going to, and that's what's fucking fantastic. And the reason why I know I'm going to is because I'm already helping myself, me first, right? And I've done so many uncomfortable things that I'm so grateful because I'll be able to lead others through those processes. And I cannot wait for that because there are people who have given me a voice that I never had before. And I'm learning so much more now on how to be able to properly express myself, to be able to ask for help in appropriate ways, to be able to address people who I have struggles with in appropriate ways, be able to show respect when I am not respected, be able to, let the water just shut off my back, because I get so emotionally invested. I have these expectations of myself and of situations, and learning to tone those down and ultimately let them go. Expectations are our own creation, right? We create a situation of pass or fail with expectations, in order to interpret the world around us. But that's not the way that the world works. Situations aren't always pass or fail, right? There's intermittent zones, and there's different realities, different opportunities, and every time that you're faced with decisions, there's a million different ways that things can go. There's no just two answers. There never will be. It's not black and white. The world is gray. The world's not gray. The world is fucking colorful. Look around. This is so fucking colorful. And so if we, through our expectations, are changing the filter, if we're making it sepia tone or black and white, and then we're complaining about it, we've created that reality for ourselves, right? We're passing it through a filter, and that's not fair to reality. That's not fair to the truth of the situation. The artistry of this world is meant to be seen in bold, vibrant color. And if you're dulling it down because it's too bright for you, or you don't want to see the details because the reality of your life isn't perfect, so you set expectations, you change the filter so that other people can fail and be the scapegoat in why your world, your reality isn't exactly the way that you want it to be. Yeah. I don't know why that tangent came out. Honestly, my brain just went on a side note with that one. I'm not 100% sure. For the most part, except for the distractions from chat, I've kind of just been able to let my mind go with it. And I think I've touched on all the things that I really wanted to. Today's the first day of class for summer semester. I don't know how the future is going to be. I really don't. But I'm working really hard to be the man that I am. And I'm getting closer. For a long time, I haven't been able to look in the mirror and see me. I haven't liked the person that's in there because there's so much makeup on. We call them masks. And I was hardcore masking layers and layers of makeup. So many so that even if I removed a layer and you thought and I thought I was showing you the real me, just another layer of makeup, another mask underneath. Just a multiplicity of masks, just hiding my reality. Scared to be who I am because of the world's expectations, and therefore expectations I eventually adopted. I allowed those filters, all of those masks, they have eyepieces which slightly alter the way that you view the world. You start to see things through the mask as reality, but that's not reality. And looking through that mask into myself in the mirror, I knew that that wasn't me. So I'm slowly removing the masks, and I'm getting closer and closer to being the person in the mirror that I'm supposed to be. And that's terrifying. But at the same time, it's so amazing. And I've learned so much about myself, the expansion of my diagnoses, and really being able to just accept who I am and be okay with that. And knowing that I always have room for improvement and that I can be the best version of me as long as I'm willing to put in the effort. Yeah, is this? I don't know if it's going. Sorry, cut out. My phone got too hot. But hopefully this still saves and everything. I guess it really doesn't matter. The only person that necessarily needs to see it would be me. Um, if I'm ever brave enough to take the time to watch it. Most of the time I can't even watch my own videos, or I find it difficult to. Because I don't like my own voice, mainly. Anyway, slowly becoming the person that I slowly becoming the person that I have always envisioned. You know, slowly becoming the person I always knew I could be. And it's taken a lot to be brave, but I'm grateful for the chance to. So, anyways, I'm gonna call it because my phone's getting super hot. I thought it was really cool having the sunlight kind of shining out through the corner, but might have been doing a little bit too much. But anyways, Justin, I'm gonna talk right to you now. I just want you to know that regardless of what other people say or feel about you, regardless of how you feel about yourself at certain times, I need you to know that what you've been able to overcome it's incredible. And I know it's hard for you to admit your success because you feel as though it's prideful and that you're not allowed to be happy or successful. But you are. You're allowed. Okay? And it's okay to allow, in certain cases, other people to struggle so that you can do better. They need to be able to live through their situations just like you are. And that's hard. Because there's a very good chance that by them going through it, they're going to experience trauma. And that's hard. Because you have to let them. And maybe that's what everyone's been doing to you your whole life. Just giving you a chance to grow. Become who you want to be. But you got to give yourself grace, man. Because you're on the right path. You're doing good. So I want you to know I love you. I fucking love you. I would be friends with you. I like you. You're a good dude. And you're only getting better. Just improve it. So we got this.